Welcome to the Wednesday Match Play, your weekly connection to the biggest and best brands in golf. On this show you will learn more about the latest golf fashion trends, hear from LPGA and PGA Tour players, get advice on planning your next golf getaway, and much more. Broadcasting live from Santa Rosa, California, please welcome your host, On the Tee, Ricky Potts.
I first connected with Orlando on Instagram. His content is incredible. It's funny, it's positive, and he has a background with the DkF boys, but he's moved on a little bit from that. But on this episode of the Wednesday Match Play podcast, we'll learn a little bit more about the DkF boys, his history, his relationship with Cut Golf, more about Coach Rusty. I was supposed to meet this guy in Bermuda a couple of years ago. His Walking Dead reference, which I think you'll get a kick out of. We talk a little bit about Google Plus as well, which is a very sad time for social media. But Orlando was a fantastic guest, and I really enjoyed this conversation. I think you will too. Let's jump into it. Orlando, welcome to the Wednesday Match Play podcast.
And thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Man, so just start, and I know that there's a lot of history that goes back to the DkF boys, but let's just start there. What are the DkF boys? Where did that get started? What's that stand for? And kind of what's that look like for you, where you are and where you sit today?
Well, that all started. That really is what I started on with social media. It was way before Instagram. I was actually on an app called Social Cam. And me and my buddy Jufro, he's actually on Instagram as the Jufro. We were just literally with our iPhone 3Gs. Literally the first iPhones and stuff. We were out there making drunk golf videos, having fun on the course, way before having fun on the course was cool. You know what I'm saying? That all happened way after. This is way before that. And I guess it caught people by surprise. And in 1 week on Social Cam, we got featured and grew 22,000 followers that week. And that was on an app that ended up getting sold for a lot of money and did well. And we ended up moving pretty much to Twitter, then Instagram. Then, pretty much we got, we shot some pilots for Back Nine Network. We would try to up the videos, always have fun. It was more of just fun on the course. It was two guys drinking, golfing. Look, we were both low 80 golfers drinking heavily. So it's not like we're bad golfing or anything. And just having fun, promoting fun. And then, 2011 or 12, brands started hitting us up. First being Kicker Golf, James Lepp. I don't know if you know who that is. He was on Big Break and all that back in the day. And then Asher Golf was the second, and I'm still with Asher Golf. We're talking 7, 8 years later. But anyways, and that's how it started. Then I kind of went on to pretty much make just fun comedy videos, period. And that's where I kind of went on my own with it. But I still golf with the Jufro. We still have a lot of fun. We still do a lot of things. I-Dale-O, which is what came from DkF boys, which DkF stands for, Dale Kappa Fro. I'm known as Dale, the Cuban guy out of Miami, bald, whatever. The Jufro is my partner, which he was a Jewish guy out of Boca Raton, big fro. And we just made it a fun name because, Dale Kappa Fro sounded like fraternity, like a fun joke, whatever. And we ended up coming up with that, DkF boys. We did a video that really took off. This was the first one that took off was a Gangnam Style video, but we did a video where we did 18 shots each. For every tee box, we did a shot. So we called it 2-18-36. 2 guys, 18 holes, 36 shots. And we played a complete round shot at every single tee box. And by the 11th hole, we were, smashed. We had the GM called. It was a mess. But we ended up finishing the round and completed the video, completed everything. And, that one, I want to actually redo that for Instagram now, for an Instagram more format. I think that video would do well. But anyways, that's where it all started, the DkF boys. Right now, it's more of I-Dale-O. It's more me doing me stuff, comedy, skits, still sticking with golf a lot, but not always golf, but sticking to golf a lot. And now I have a big circle on Instagram that I call my boys, and you know them all. They're all trick shotters or blogs or whatever the case. And, we just do a lot of things together. We have a lot of fun. Put it this way, this was a hobby that's really blown up. Let's just put it that way. I'm just having a lot of fun doing this.
Man, that's awesome. And yeah, fun is definitely what I can tell that you're doing with all of the content you've created. So you mentioned Instagram. Obviously, you've had a lot of success with Instagram, Twitter a little bit. What other networks are you using, and why do you think Instagram has been so popular for you?
I don't know, man. Instagram is where I guess the timing, because Twitter, when I first joined Twitter, I mean, that was my like, but Twitter's more of a fun, say off the wall things, just Instagram to me was my platform. That was a video, well, like where I could show what I'm doing, what I'm pretty much creating content. And I guess YouTube, you could be doing that too. I mean, I always used YouTube more of a backup. Like I put my videos there to back up, but really I should be using it further. But Instagram has been my moneymaker, to say the least. I mean, that's been where, I mean, I don't know, man. I guess, you got to know how to grow yourself on a platform. And Instagram was my bread and butter. I mean, I think, you know why? I'll tell you this right now. I'm a mingler. I love Instagram to mingle. I reply to every comment. I go through people's pages. I actually watch people's content. So I actually care. It's not just me being on there, whatever, right? Pushing myself. So I think that helped a lot. And especially in the beginning, my growth was mainly because of that. And remember, I've been on here a lot longer than a lot of these guys. So my growth was slower probably in the long run, it's working out, and I hope to keep growing, and I hope people keep finding me funny. The day people don't find me funny is the day I'll stop.
That's great, man. Well, I got to tell you, you're right. You do respond to every comment, and I've slowly been sprinkling in, and you've really embraced Instagram stories, which I personally have had a hard time getting a really good understanding of. I use them. I use Facebook a little bit for that too, but I don't create enough unique content as you are that make it make sense. Like my life's pretty boring, right? I get up, I go to work, I work out, I come home. I could only share so many things before it gets old, but you've done a really good job with that. So keep doing that when it comes to the Instagram stories.
Appreciate that, man. As far as you're concerned, I mean, you could be using stories for polls, questions, topics. Stories are, I mean, as long as you just use them, any which way possible. It's a great tool. I use it in a lot of different ways. I mean, I use it to show personality some, to show my kids some, to have fun, show real life, show back behind the scenes. I do a lot of different things on stories, but it's a great tool, man. When it first started, like you said, I had trouble grasping what a story was, and I never really grasped. I mean, Facebook to me is just elementary school friends, high school friends, family. Like that's not what I'm going for, So I really focus on Instagram. Instagram to me is where it's at.
I am sick of hearing about this Matt Kuchar, Sergio Garcia crap. But you laugh because you know where I'm going with this. You turned that around and made a really funny video out. I mean, I was on the floor. Tell me more about that. And I mean, come on, Sergio's wrong here, right? I mean, there's no way that Matt Kuchar should have conceded the next hole.
No, of course not. I mean, look, he didn't give – the truth of the matter is he didn't even give Kuchar the chance to say that's good. And anger, which, I'm a Spanish guy just like him, and we have our little anger, our attitudes. And he let it get to him. He went up and he hit the ball. I mean, if he was smart, he would have walked over, kind of just went behind it. And you know what? Kuchar would have said, that's good. And that's it. He would have walked away. But, I make fun of – look, one thing about me, I'm all positive. I'm not negative in any way. I don't – whenever I do something, it's never to be looked upon as if I'm making fun or being negative about it. I just look at everything as funny. Okay. Like I try to make anything and everything funny, and it doesn't matter how controversial. I try to just be funny. And, a funny story real quick is before this video, the one that Sergio went nuts in the sand trap, I did a whole, cause he was cursing in Spanish in that video. So what I did was I legitly translated what he said. Okay. And I said, just in case you're wondering what he said, here you go. And I translated it 100% to a real translation. Okay. That video took off. Like a lot of people loved it. And Sergio's brother said, if this wasn't my brother, I would find this funny. So that's pretty funny that he came out and actually said that. But moving on, then now people send me videos of Sergio all the time. Say, you got to do something with this. You got to do something with this. And the second I saw this one, I was like, I got to do it where, because he's just staring at him and Kuchar doesn't shut up. He just keeps talking for a minute and 10 seconds. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do what Sergio's thinking during that minute. And, make it, obviously with an attitude, like once again, just making it humor out of it. Everything I try to make humor,
I met him a couple of years ago in Bermuda, and you were actually supposed to be there too. But how do you know Coach Rusty?
Oh, Rusty. Yeah. He, our paths have mixed many times. We worked together on Swingcast on Twitch, which was a gaming network. We were playing, golf games on Xbox on Twitch. Me, him, Colorado Golf Blog, Hole in One Trick Shots, Karin Hart, Rebecca Grant. just a couple of us. We were just playing games, getting pretty much drunk on camera. This was all video too, so they could see us and everything. It was awesome. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And we were doing that for a while, that we became real good friends doing that. Then now, I mean, me and him, I mean, we traveled, like recently we just did Sanibel Island. We stayed in the beach house together, golfed all weekend. And, you know, and now, I mean, we have our circle. We talk every day, all day long. I mean, so me and Rusty, we're real close. I mean, and now he's here in Orlando, so he's close. He's 3 hours away. So that's a good friendship. And yeah, I was supposed to be there, man. I hated, it was just bad timing. So I couldn't make it there, but I watched you guys, man. I watched you guys from afar.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you and I were able to connect, even though you weren't on the island. And
yes,
this next question is really fun for me because back in March of 2017, Cut Golf was on this show, and I'm not sure, but I think you're wearing a Cut Golf hat in your Instagram profile photo. So, how do you know those guys, and do you play the golf ball?
Yeah, man. I started from day one. I don't know. I got to know them like really early on in their process before they were like anybody, before they even had a name. I actually was instrumental helping them out with their first invitational, the first thing in California 2 years ago. And I've just stuck by them. They're good guys, man. The owners are awesome people. I mean, I'm sure you've met some of them. And the balls, man, they keep getting better and better. I mean, honestly, I do use them. I'm a low 80s golfer. So it's not even like, you know, I don't make a big deal of saying, oh, I need a Pro V1, you know, to spin backwards this way, this or this. No, man, I think the cut ball is great, especially for the price. So yeah, I do play them, and I do keep contact with them, and I help them out where I can. And so yeah, they're awesome people, man.
So I assume that you make it to the PGA show every year. Seems like the kind of place you could hang out.
Every year since 2012, I believe I've made it.
Now you've got to have a story. I mean, iDrive gets pretty crazy. So give me the most obscure, ridiculous story of the years that you've been in Orlando.
Oh man, I mean, you know, it all started off. I would get because iDrive is where all the parties happen. You know, Howl at the Moon and all the little restaurants there. It all started back in the day where I would get a motel across the street for like $30, $40 a night with a couple buddies. And so we could just walk there, stumble back. And we made a tradition where we're at Denny's at 4 a.m. every night there. You know, pretty much that. And now, but the only thing now is I'm getting into these houses now, the last 2 years, Bradley House and Birdie Bundle House. So now I'm in these big, they rent these mansions in Reunion and stuff. And there's, you know, like 12 or 13 of us, whatever. And, you know, we throw little parties there. We still do some of the iDrive stuff. You know, I did the John Daly party because I do their drink. And I got to actually meet John Daly and stuff. You know, and we still do the Travis Matthews and Top Golf Party, and we still all do all that stuff. But man, yeah, there's been a lot of crazy nights. Obviously, I mean, there's been nights where we've woken up on iDrive on the street. Just a lot of different stories with PGA Week. To me is one of the best weeks, not only because you know you get to mingle with anybody that's anybody's usually there, so you get to really mingle with everybody. But I mean, it's a no hold bar, just go get loose, you know. And thank God it's in Orlando, which everything closes at like 2. Because if it was down here in Miami, it would be a mess. We probably wouldn't be alive right now.
I like how the comparison of Orlando to Miami is that it closes down at 2. I spent 3 years in Naples where it doesn't close until, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., right?
Right. A.m. or p.m.?
p.m. You've been in Naples. You know what's up.
I've been in Naples. I know, man. I know. No, Miami, man, there's always an after. Bar will close at 2, you go to the 4. The bar closes at 4, you go to the 7. Then there's Club Space that closes at noon. I mean, so there's always something. And Naples is tough, bro.
Tell me about some of your clients, and are you actively seeking new clients, and what sort of services do you offer the clients that you have?
Always, man, always. I've grown to where, I'm not only selling my exposure because anybody could do that has followers. One thing I do is I take pride in my work and in my editing and my creation. And, I come off with crazy video ideas. I come out with ways to show a product, instead of just putting up a picture, say, oh, look at this, I come out with fancy, funny, crazy ways to show things off. And, that's what I do. Like, I want companies to, when they reach out to me, to know they're getting a video content, they're getting, of course, me posting my exposure, but they're getting good quality content. I mean, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to editing. Today, I did a video with Butsy, and Butsy, first thing he said, dude, you edited that awesome. I'm like, thank you, man. I take pride in editing. I take pride in everything. I'm with, right now, I'm with several companies, but Ben Hogan's my main. That's my club brand right now. I do a lot of things with them. I'm actually with them, period, right now. That's my clubs. I love them. I mean, they've come a long way. They're actually, I mean, I don't know if you've hit the new Ben Hogan's, and they're coming out with a whole new set this summer too. But I love them, man. I play them daily. I don't play them just because I'm with them, but I actually love their clubs. Then of course Cut Golf and Scramble Clothing, you know, that's someone I've been with since like 2013, 14, probably 14, I think. That's just, you know, my clothing line, my hats and stuff. You know, I wear different shoes, True Links. I was wearing a lot of them. And I do some things for, you know, I do things for all these companies, Asher. I have a funny thing coming up where there's a Trump head cover, and, they contacted me to make a funny video with it, and I already know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to shoot it probably in the next 2 days, and I can't wait for everyone to see it because it's going to be, once again, every ad I've seen for that head cover has been a picture. Me, you're going to see what comes out in the next couple of days, man. It's going to be funny. I mean, everybody's going to love it. Whether you like or hate them or whatever, I don't care. Once again, like I told you, everything with me is humor, comedy, making things look good. I don't care about the political side or the religion side, or, you know, I'm not trying to get controversial with people. But yeah, man, I deal with a lot of brands, and pretty much what they could get out of me is creative content and a different way to look at products than, you know, what you get with any other repost page or, you know.
So you mentioned Ben Hogan. Scott White from Ben Hogan was actually on this show last April, and we had a great conversation, and I love what they're doing. Their kind of direct to consumer model is great.
Yep.
And they, you know, they get a lower price point because of that model. And at the same time, you get it, you don't like it, send it back. They'll make it right. And that's just a really cool new way of thinking for golf equipment.
If you are like, if someone's interested, people have hit me up and say, oh man, how are those clubs? And I tell them, you know what, reach out. Why? Because they'll send you 2 demo clubs and let you play with them for a couple rounds, keep them a couple weeks or whatever. And you feel them out yourself. You know, I mean, who else does that? That's how I started with them. Before I ever signed anything, got with them, anything, I said, you know, oh, I would love to try your clubs. Boom. I had clubs here and I used them for about a month. And I was like, I like these, blah, blah, blah. They have a lot of, also they have a lot of custom, the degrees and everything. They do it to you, you know, 100%. Everything is built to you. So it's not like off the shelf, you know, you got to buy whatever it is, you know. And yeah, man, it's direct consumer. I actually just had a guy that owns a shop ask me, he goes, hey man, I want to get some Hogan in my shop. And I reached out to my guy at Hogan, and he goes, look, man, we don't wholesale or we don't stock shelves with our product. And you know what? That's awesome. So they even turned down a chance to, you know, sell some clubs, you know, like that, you know.
Hey there, it's Gabe Aloisi from Private Club Radio. If you are in the private club business, meaning you're a manager, you're a membership director, you sit on the board of directors, and you want to be entertained and educated, we have a weekly show on Mondays here on the Golf Radio Network. It's called Private Club Radio, and it's just for you. You can give it a listen over at privateclubradio.com or subscribe wherever podcasts are heard.
Good. I mean, that's kind of the idea behind their model. And if their business model is X, then don't go to Y. And I like that. And I like the fact that they stick to that. Out of all of the content that you've created I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, and bravo to you for the continuous creation of content. And as a matter of fact, this morning, I actually had a conversation with a lady about content and about how I've been creating content on my blog for 10 plus years. And she's like, well, what do you get out of it? And I said, I get a place to create content. I don't need anything. If people read it, great. If not, that's my outlet. So out of all of the content that you've created over all of these years, what's been your most popular post?
You mean exposure wise, number wise, or just what people like the most? I mean,
yeah, just the one post that comes to mind that you've created that has been the most popular.
2 come to mind as far as popular, but as far as popular meaning series, let's say, where I dress up as Idalis in a red robe. That series, everybody wants more of it. Whenever I don't do it, people are asking, where is it? Why not more? Blah, blah, blah. And that one is, you know, it's just my counterpart. You know, it's me. It's, you know, my goatee and everything in a red robe and a shower cap, you know, acting like a female counterpart to me. And she's a real bitch to me. Okay. And it never ends well. It's always, and people love it, the abuse, you know. But as far as most popular, I did 2 videos. One of them was actually just all I did was point the phone. I had a guy I was golfing with, and he just said, "Look at me." And I go, "What?" And he starts chasing an iguana, dives, catches the iguana. The iguana was huge. Picks it up and brings it to me, all on video. That went super viral. I sold it, everything. I mean, it was crazy. That video was nuts. And that wasn't anything planned. That was just something that just happened. As far as planned, I did a video. I think one of my biggest videos was I did a golf version of Negan from The Walking Dead. I don't know if you watched The Walking Dead, but Negan, he was the what's the word? The villain, let's say, in that season, and he bashed people's heads in with a bat. So what I did was I had a Big Bertha, I called it, and I had a bunch of golf balls, and I recreated the scene, but using golf. That video blew up. I mean, it had a couple 100,000 views and blah blah blah. So it's just it's funny, man. You could think of brilliant videos, and sometimes they don't take off, and then sometimes you just do something stupidly, and next thing you know, it's huge. It's crazy how it works, but I wish everything jumped like that,
Tell me a little bit more about the Just a Tip series.
Those are old videos that, I haven't even watched them in years, but I've done a couple now. I don't know if you saw some of them, but where I'm like a golf coach that just gives horrible golf advice and stuff like that. That's down the same exact line as Just a Tip series that I used to do back in 2013 or whatever that was. Nowadays, I call him Dale McGillicuddy Johnson, and he's an obnoxious golf coach that just pretty much talks shit, and he gives advice like pretty much saying, if you're allowed to keep the flag stick in, and he's just he gives bad advice but in a funny way. There's a lot of funny because there's so many people on Instagram that think they're like gods and coaches and everything, and they have real advice. So I think it's funny to just be an obnoxious guy that gives bad advice almost, So I kind of went with it that way. That's kind of my direction. Everything I do, once again, humor. I don't want to be serious.
So I have to assume you're going to answer this the way I think you are, but you mostly share videos, and that's been a big shift in the way that people engage with social media content. So yeah. Do you find that your videos create more engagement than photos?
If you go by likes, I think photos get more likes than videos. Why? Because people just see it and like it, and they just move on. One thing about Instagram, you can just go through a feed and just like. Videos, you feel like you have to watch. And it sucks because if a video is a minute long, a lot of people are like, I'm not going to watch that, So you got to have those diehard fans or diehard people, followers that want to watch, But engagement-wise, yeah, I think it's tough, man, because I always tell everybody, Gary Vee actually says this a lot. Stop worrying so much about the numbers, because Instagram with all the algorithms, it's a mess. Okay. Sometimes there's days, you could ask Coach Rusty and everybody about this. There's days where our videos will start off and have like no exposure in the first hour. And we're like, what is going on here? And it's hit or miss with Instagram. So we can't judge our stuff by the numbers that are coming in, I always say, just do you, keep creating, and it's all going to come together, and in the end it works out. But it stinks because due to algorithms and stuff, you don't always get the love or the exposure you're supposed to get, or you should get. But yeah, man, I think video was the biggest transition ever with Instagram. It kind of hurt a lot of people because, all these people taking selfies, suddenly you saw them for who they really were. And that was hilarious. That was a big joke of mine back in the day. But for someone like me that who cares about selfies? I want to make videos. So it was a blessing, man. And, I love it. I love everything about the video content.
Glad that you mentioned Gary Vee. He's a buddy of mine, and anybody that's listening that has any interest in content, social media, and just the reach of the things you're creating, listen and follow him because he just tells it how it is. And what's really funny about his background is and I'm sure you know this, he started in wine. He had selling wine bottles. He worked for his dad. Like, he's got stories of when he was a kid, and just kind of his story is really good. And any book that he's written, he's got a few of them out. He's got a few more coming. Read them because they're quick reads, they're easy reads, and he just, like I said, tells it how it is.
How it is. Man, let me tell you, I know he started with, like, his parents had an alcohol or wine store or something like that. I remember that. But, I was watching him live today. And real quick, just to focus on the social media and what he brings, he says today, he goes, 90% of content on Instagram is selfish posts. Look at me. look at me. I'm on the beach. Don't you want to be here? Be jealous of me. Me, 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 me. He says, you know, the other 10%, what is it? Entertainers and educators. And he goes, we need more of those 10% than that 90%. And it hit me because, number one, I'm not the me guy. You know, yes, we're all guilty of it. Don't get me wrong. I go to Naples and I'm showing off the beach or whatever, you know. But I'm not an educator. I'm a entertainer. You know, I'm here because I want people to laugh. I want to, you know, spread the love and spread laughter and engage. Big thing is engaging. I don't do things and then turn my back on everyone. You know, so that comment by him today, it dug deep in me, man. And I hope people hear this right now on your show and, you know, think about it because it made me think.
I like that you said that because I'm looking just literally right now. I'm looking through the things that I've posted. Like I post things in chronological order. So if I go on vacation, I'm going to be 2-3 weeks behind because I've got so many pictures to post. But like, I feel like since I've moved to Santa Rosa, a lot of my stuff is food. Like there's a pizza, there's a bag of chips, there's a salad, there's some wings, there's some sliders. I was at a place the other night. We were at Third Street Ale Works, and they had sweet hot mustard on the table. And I'm a sauce guy, right? Like hashtag sauce boss. Like I'm not, but I just love sauces, and I like took a picture of it. I'm like, that's cool. And so maybe that's the me. I get that, but at the same time, I'm just sharing what is going on in my life. Like I like sauce. Here's a sauce that I'm going to enjoy. Here's a photo of it.
You showing pictures of food isn't like to make people jealous of you. And, you know, it's more like just look what I'm eating and, you know, and make, you know, most people are going to be like, oh my God, that's so good, you know, but I don't think he was focusing more on like that kind of post, you know, more like selfies on the beach and
right.
Everything just me, you know, that I think that's what he was focusing on. But man, food posts are tough because it always makes me hungry.
Good segue to the next question. Not necessarily food, but you did say earlier you were pouring a bourbon. What is your favorite bourbon and how do you take it?
I'm a bourbon guy. Usually I do it either neat or on the rocks. I love the Willett family. There's probably 5-6 bourbons I drink from them. But I drink plenty of different bourbons. I'm a guy that doesn't buy the same one all the time. I go to my liquor store and I always let them pick for me pretty much. They know my palate. They know what I'm doing, you know. Right now I'm drinking Johnny Drum, which is it's a private stock from the Willett family. It's 101 proof. And, you know, I put a couple ice cubes in, little ice cubes, and that's how I take it straight. You know, nothing. I don't ever mix my bourbon with anything. I don't know. That's it, man. I love my bourbon, man. I'm a bourbon connoisseur. I love bourbon.
I love it, man. Somebody asked me the other day, what's your favorite bourbon? I said the next one because who knows what bottle it's going to be. And I'm just ready for whatever's next in my glass.
Man, I love when people ask me, they're like, are you is the glass half empty or half full kind of guy? I go, neither of them. I'm more of I need you know, top that off, fill that glass up, you know? I need a refill kind of guy, make it a double.
Oh, man, I love it. I feel like you and I need to get together for a cocktail because that would be a fun conversation.
Without a doubt.
So your email is listed on your Instagram account, and with over 53,000 followers, I have to assume people are emailing you on a daily basis. So what sort of emails do you get from your followers?
I've gotten some crazy stuff, like from husbands. I mean, weird, crazy things, man. People can come off very weird on social media, man. I'll tell you that. But anyways, sticking to the subject. I mean, mainly it's a lot of agencies asking for, you know, if I'm interested in pushing this or pushing that or pushing this, and or you know, you get a lot of spam. You know, you want more followers, you want this, you want, you know, just a lot of that. I mean, and then you know, you'll get some of the emails, but then again, they could just send you messages on there, you know, on IG and the DM. So I don't know. I find more business is on the actual email. DMs is not mainly business. That's people just writing, period. You know, most of the time it's just people praising, saying, thank you, I was having a bad day, and, you know, or, you know, this was hilarious, or a lot of people, my favorite one's this, ready? Where people say, hey man, I had an idea, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, but make it funny. So it's people trying to give me video ideas, but then it's never funny. And then they say, but make it funny.
That's a challenge that I'm sure you're ready to accept based on the content that I've seen.
100%, man. I love a challenge, man.
So where do you find inspiration for new content? I mean, obviously, like the Kuchar and Sergio thing kind of just falls in your lap. I'm sure Tiger has been a big form of inspiration over the last 18 months, but where are you finding new content?
Man, it's funny. It comes at you in the weirdest times. I'll be driving and I'm listening to music, and just hearing a lyric in a song gets me thinking, or seeing a post. I'm gonna start this series right now. I've done it once or twice. With Tanya Tari, I did one, and I've done it with a couple other people. But where I just mock, or I add on to their video. There's a whole new series that's going to be coming out right now that it's just going to be me kind of adding on to these girls in Instagram, these golfers, doing things, and me kind of adding to it to make it funnier, that I'm going to, it's just, I love when I see a post and I think about it and I'm like, that's where my idea hits. I'll see something and I'm like, oh, this could go this way or this could go that way. Or the Sergio, I saw the video and I swear to God, I was watching it and my brain just started going right away. But mainly a lot of it comes in the car driving. It's weird, man. Like I'm not even thinking about it. It just hits me, And then a lot of my videos are off the wall, crazy. But, I love, humor comes in many different formats, man. I don't want to be that guy that just puts out the lame humor. I come out with my own twist on things. And, really, it just hits me. It's weird, man. It's not a formulated thing with me, man. It's whenever it hits me. And let me tell you something. Every time I think of a video, I write it in my iPhone notepad. My iPhone notepad, you could probably scroll with about 5 swipes right now of ideas that I still haven't done. There's plenty of stuff to do. It's just a matter of the motivation. Because, I wake up in the morning and that's when I mainly do them. When the house is empty, everyone's gone and I'm at home, that's when I do my videos mainly. It's all on motivation. I got to be, I love to like grab a coffee in the morning or something like that. And once I'm pumped, put some music on, boom, I'm ready to record something. But yeah, man, it's just off the top of it. Like today. Oh, let me tell you real quick today. Me and Butsy did that video today. All I did today, because I didn't have any real post to put up today. Like, I don't want to force a post. So what I do, I whenever I'm in doubt, I go online and I Google what's today's national day, because there's always a national day of something. And today was National Walking Day. So I right away, boom, a video idea hit me. I didn't tell Butsy the video idea. I just told him, hey, send me a video saying this. He said, okay, on the way. Boom, he sent it. I did my video parts, edited it all together, posted it. And it ended up being, I don't know if you saw it, the one about the walking on the golf course. And I was like, no, call me on a day. It's not National Walking Day. I'm not walking, Things just hit me at the moment. It's not a long process. It's really what hits me at the moment, And if I had an idea a week ago, suddenly I'm not hungry to make that idea no more. Right now, I'm in for like whatever hits me now.
Today was also National Go Find a Rainbow Day, so I'm pretty sure there's a calendar for all of this.
I looked at it. There was some weird stuff, man.
I was thinking it's probably going to rain because it's been raining in Santa Rosa since I moved here, and that's my fault because it rained all the time when I was in Southwest Florida. So sorry, California, my bad. But yeah, it was pretty easy to find a rainbow today because it rained all day.
Wow. That's crazy, man. It was beautiful here today.
Rub it in. Great, thanks. You may not know this, but I'm Tiger's biggest fan, so be careful how you answer this. This question is asked on every episode of the show. Do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
Look, man, whether he does it or not, I'm rooting for him too. I love Tiger. I'm like you, man. I'm a huge Tiger. Me and Holo and Trick Shots Daily and PJ Memes and all of us, we just go at it about that. Like, we just want Tiger to win, man. We're huge. Coach Rusty too. We're all huge Tiger fans. And God, he's playing at a level where he can, man. It's crazy because he's kind of always kind of there. He's in the area. He's in the right place. He just needs to finish it. I hope he does, man. I think he can, as long as he doesn't choose to retire early or anything, I think he can, man. Look, these kids, all these young guys, Spieth and Fowler and all these kids, I mean, their games are amazing. And Tiger's the old man out there these days. I mean, really, he almost is. And he's right there with him. They're scared of him, man, So I'm really hoping he can and he will. But I don't know, man. I'm rooting for him. In the end, I'm rooting for him.
I don't care how young and how good these guys are. You put Tiger on the first tee on Sunday at insert tournament name here. Whoever he is standing next to is playing for second place.
Yes. That's exactly my thought. To me, I mean, I don't know if you're a Jordan fan, but to me, Michael Jordan, I don't think you piss Michael Jordan off, and I don't think anybody could beat him. And that's how I think Tiger is the same way, man. And I hope it comes off. I hope it happens, man. I love that post. I'm sure you've seen it, where it shows the earnings, career earnings, and it starts at like 94, and it keeps moving every year, and it shows the earnings. And man, the first couple of years, you see all these people, and next thing you know, Tiger comes on the scene, and he just destroys everybody. Even though VJ was on that freaking list, like he earned for a while there, man. It's a great post. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think Colorado Golf Blog and a lot of people have posted it. It's worth the look, man. It's good stuff.
I remember watching an interview with Phil, and I have no idea what tournament it was. I remember he was inside, and I remember there was a window behind him. I don't know why I remember this, but they were asking him about Tiger, and he's like, look, I'm a millionaire because of that man. And
yes.
For these guys to know, regardless if it's Phil, who's an older, Phil's older than Tiger, but you look at Ricky and Jordan and Justin Thomas and Dustin Johnson and these guys, they're up and coming. Like these guys that watched Tiger on TV was as they were kids thinking, hey, I'll be there one day. They're where they are and they're making the money they are because of him. So when the conversation comes up, who's the greatest of all time, I don't even think Jack should be in that conversation, only based on his major championships, because if majors were all that mattered, why would Tiger play in 15 other tournaments every year, and why would the tour have 35 other tournaments during the year if majors were all that mattered? Right.
No, I agree 100%. And truth of the matter is, Tiger is good for the game. The game needs Tiger. Everyone's a fan of all these people, Fowler and all that, but it's Tiger when he plays, the Tiger effect. It takes over. People make money because of Tiger. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the reason, man. There's been greats, man. There's been greats, and not taking anything away from greats. But Tiger is Tiger, and the game is where we are, and we all are where we are in this game because of Tiger. That's the truth.
I like to say that Tiger doesn't move the needle. Tiger is the needle.
I love that. I just got chills.
Me too. Like, it's like, oh, dude, like he's the GOAT, period. He
is. He is the GOAT, 100%.
And what I hope happens if and when he breaks that record, I hope Jack's alive to see it, because I think Jack would honestly appreciate that. And I think that he would appreciate what Tiger's not only done, and he does appreciate what Tiger has done for the game. I think Tiger gets the wins record just by default, just by picking up a club and playing, right? And the wins record is also impressive, but to everyone in the world that's like, oh, well, he doesn't have the majors record, he's not the GOAT. Well, guess what? If and when he gets that, now what are you going to say? Because you can't go back and say, oh, well, Jack did it first. No. Tiger, and because of the fact that, like I said, these guys, Phil, Ricky, etc., they're millionaires because of Tiger, and there's no mistaking that Tiger is the reason why they're on TV on Sunday afternoon primetime is because of what Tiger created for this sport.
110%. Speaking of Phil being a millionaire, how did you like that story that came out just the other day about, I don't remember who it was. I think it was like a country singer or something that went up to Phil at a party, and said that match with Tiger was the worst thing ever. You should give me the $80 back. Phil pulls out a wad of money. He says this. Phil pulls out a wad of hundreds, hands him a $100 bill and says, look, I won 90,000 of these that day. You could have this one.
That was Jake Owen, and he is spot on. Yes, because that was horrendous. Like, that was a made-for-TV movie, and they didn't even play good. Like, it was
awkward.
Bad.
How awkward was that first hole when they both drive and then they both start walking on the fairway, and they're like, wow, it's really cool that Samuel Jackson's here to introduce our names. Yeah, man, he's a really good guy. Yeah, I met him once or twice before this. Yeah. It was the most awkward conversation ever. It was so forced.
How about you say, hey, Phil, shut up. You suck at golf. Let's go play. Make more birdies. Like, that's what I thought it was going to be.
Yes. That would have been amazing. I was at Kennedy Space Center, and I had my phone. I was on their Wi-Fi, and I had my phone watching it live at Kennedy Space Center with my kids and everything, just walking around watching it.
In golf, the 19th hole is a slang term for a bar, restaurant on or near the golf course, very often in the clubhouse itself. This edition of the 19th hole is presented by Le École number 41, a family-owned artisan winery located in Walla Walla, Washington. Tonight, I opened a bottle of their 2015 Merlot. I love red wines, and on this, I'm actually getting a ton of black cherry on the nose, maybe some plum, and as it kind of opens up, I'm getting more and more of that plum flavor. Mouthfeel is insanely full-bodied, and the flavor and the finish is intense. This bottle, it's a 50% Ferguson Vineyard and a 50% Seven Hills Vineyard. So I had their Chardonnay last week, and I don't really care for Chardonnays, and it blew my mind. So this week, and when I'm thinking of red wines, I'm thinking more of the Pinot Noirs and Cabernets, but Merlot, like I wish I had a steak or something to pair this with, but this Merlot is on point. And I don't know about you, but this winery is quickly becoming a household favorite for me, and I'm only 2 bottles in, but you got a lot of really, really good places to grab a cocktail where you are. So what's your favorite 19th hole? And I assume you're drinking bourbon.
I'm drinking bourbon right now, and the way you just described that wine, it sounds delicious. Yeah, man, I'm always drinking, man. I always have a good bourbon on hand. Like I say, I switch it up pretty much every 3-4 days. I switch up a bottle of bourbon. And then, yeah, man, I have a lot of 19 holes, either the clubhouse bar or a bar surrounding the golf course, you know. So plenty. 19th hole is something that I speak fluently in. One thing you could guarantee with me is we're drinking, if you're with me.
I knew we were going to be friends.
Yes, sir.
What's next, man? I mean, your content is incredible. Just keep doing it. Like I love the stuff that you're pumping out. I mean, it's always, to your point, you know, somebody will email you and say, hey, you just made my day. Like, it's just funny and fun. And as I engage with more of this stuff, I see more of it in my timeline, and I just flip through, and it's just, anytime you release something, it's just like the Sergio Kucher thing. I keep going back to that, but it was hilarious. And I knew that you were going to create something from that just based on what I know about your brand. But kind of what's the immediate future look like for you? And are you looking to do anything new or different here in the next few months?
I'm going to stick with a lot of the series I do now. And I'm going to, like I said, I have new series coming up. You know, I have ideas. I always have ideas, man. And it's all about, I'm always a doer. I don't just want to think it, I want to do it. And whether it works out or not, but, you know, I have a track record where, you know, if I put it out, people like it. For the most part, people like it. I find that I don't have duds often, okay? And even when it's a dud, I guess people like me to where they make me feel good anyways. But the truth of the matter is, man, I'd rather, coming back to what you said about the people and all that, the followers, the comments, I'd rather have 200 comments of people saying, amazing video, you made my day, this is hilarious, tagging people, you got to see this guy, than 10 million likes. I want real engagement, I want real interaction, and that's what I push for by being genuine, being who I am. I go to California, I go to St. Louis, I go all over New York, I go all over the place for events and stuff, and the biggest thing I get from people is, you are exactly who you are. Like, I'm not fake. You know, they see me, and yeah, I'm a crazy guy. I have fun, but you know, there's a lot of sides of me. But I am who I am. I'm not faking it online. You know, I'm just being me, and I'm gonna continue to be me. I'm gonna move forward, keep being me, keep creating, keep having fun, keep making people laugh. The day I don't make people laugh is the day I'll stop doing this, which I hope never happens. And I just hope to keep growing in the game and growing the game. There's more me's than there is Jordan Spieths. You know what I'm saying? So I push people of all levels to come and play golf. I mean, you have people always tell me on my videos, you know, you make golf look fun. I want to golf now, and I love that. That's it, man. I just want to move forward and keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep growing and keep getting exposure is everything, man. I want people to see me, and I want to meet them.
Dude, that's awesome, man. This has been so much fun getting to know you and just learning more about your content and your process. And it's just really fun to see that there are guys out there that are able to grow the game just by creating content like you're doing. And you're having fun doing it. There's no question. And I can tell just in the way that you talk that if and when the day that we shake hands and we meet for a glass of bourbon, that it's going to be exactly what I think it's going to be. It's going to be the same guy on the videos and the same guy that was on this podcast. So I appreciate that, and I applaud you and your efforts for having been doing this for so long and your efforts to want to keep doing it. And I like how you said that the day that you stop doing it, it's the day that people stop thinking that it's funny. And I'm kind of the same way. And I'm not to beat a dead horse with Google Plus, because Google Plus was a network that was near and dear to my heart. It just kind of died, quite frankly. It was taken down last week, and it's unfortunate because that was a network that I met a lot of people. I had a lot of legit friends that I met there, people that I talked to on Facebook, because I've had to transition those relationships over to another network. But at the same time, I looked at that, and they sent an email and they said, click here to download your files or whatever, and I did, and it was like 70 gigs of data, because it was I started using that network in 2012. I had a community of 30,000 people. I had 50,000 followers. But then at the end of the day, I looked at it and I said, literally on April 1st, I said, I'm over it. I'm sad that it's over, but I'm glad that it happened. And I feel like you've got that same kind of mentality about content, that the day that happens that you just stop the content creation, you're going to find something else to challenge you. And I can appreciate that. And I really hope that you and I do get the chance to meet and spend some time together, because your energy is contagious. And you talk about growing the game, and yeah, you drink a couple of bourbons here or there, but you're having a good time doing it. So don't stop, man, because the energy that you create is contagious, and who knows what kind of content you have coming next, but whatever it is, I'm ready.
I'm looking forward to it too, man.
That puts this installment of the Wednesday Match Play podcast in the books. But we'll be back next week for another exciting episode of the show.